Everything ready. We're live.
We're live?
You are live.
I need a proper announcement, Jackie.
You're live.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're live. So no, I don't. I had a real Dracaena and it died, and I got another one and it died. I got a third one and it died. So no, we got Ivy, we got Dracaena, and it's it's 20 years old, and man, is it doing good. Actually, I got another Dracaena in the other room there, and it's got fronds that fall off. Apparently the manufacturer didn't do a good job attaching the fronds. And so I told the guy, it was like $1,000 I paid. It was like 12 feet tall. And I said, I got fronds falling off of your $1,000 Dracaena. He's like, well, did you water it? I'm like, that's nice. Why is that? That's really nice. So much for customer service. Welcome everyone to our Success Mastermind for Friday, the 4th of September. John Lavinia here with you. As always, excited to be here with you. It's Fun Friday. We're going to have some jokes, and we're going to have hopefully some dog and cat shows and everything else. I'm actually going to go first because I was just thinking, you know what? I need to be prepared. I am so not prepared as of late as a result of all the other activities that have been going on in my life. So I just did this. I pulled up browser here. I got on my favorite search engine, DuckDuckGo, and I typed clean, funny jokes. Let's see what we got here. Come on, Bill, think outside the box. Yeah, look, his butt's outside the box. That's cool. What do we got here? Let's look for some funny stuff. Here we go. Dang. 2 stupid chickens. There you go. How do I get to the other side? You are on the other side. Nice. There's got to be some really good stuff in here. Everybody else think, oh, look at this. Moses, stop it. There you go. Let's get one more, hopefully funny one here. What is this? What do you call an alligator in a vest? An investigator. There you go. All right, who's got some better jokes than this? Come on out.
Okay, so I don't necessarily, I don't know if it's funny, but based on what you just said earlier, someone says to another person, my plant just died, and the other one says, did you water it? Which is what you said earlier. And that's the joke.
Here's one. That's great. Thank you, Ego. We're all laughing internally. We're laughing inside.
It's fine. It's not funny.
Let's check this one right here. Some of our ladies may appreciate this. Look at that. Well, I've been divorced 4 times. There's that. All right, who's got a better joke?
Hey, John, some people know about me that I have a fairly unusual number of pairs of shoes for a guy. I mean, at one point, how many of the ladies will be impressed? I actually was up to 22 pairs of shoes at one point.
Only?
Which is not bad, right?
Only.
Think about it. As a matter of fact, one time I bought a pair of shoes from a guy who turned out to be a drug dealer. Like crazy, right? I don't know what he laced them with, but I've been tripping all day.
There you go.
I knew something like that was coming. I knew it.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Good stuff. All right. Anybody got any dogs or cats they want to show us today?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Here's one.
Nikki, but it's something to do with one of your jokes.
Okay.
I hope it comes around the right way round.
Hold it up a little higher.
Okay, a little bit higher. Says,
there you go. There you go.
I dream of a better world where chickens can cross the road without having their motives questioned.
There we go.
That's chez moi.
A truly just and equitable world this way.
Thank you, Nikki.
Oh my God.
That's great.
Hey, Ivier's throwing shade because I only had. See this? Please, Glenn. 22 is not a lot of shoes. Ivier, Guy.
Yeah.
Guy.
Yeah. That's a lot of shoes.
Yeah. Well, we can name you you're the Imelda Marcos of your.
Why? Thank you, Jamie. That's mighty white of you.
All right. Hey, Mandy, who's that?
Oh my God.
This is Ocelot.
I'm calling him Glenn
Off
Marcos.
the lot.
Wow.
On my chair that I couldn't sit on it. They've all been sitting on my chair. I know, you don't like it.
That's a pretty cat.
Yes, he's gorgeous, but he's a bully. He bullies all the other cats. And he's only 3. But yeah, he's lovely.
Or does Imelda Henderson sound
I got
better?
a joke.
All right, come on, Stuart.
All right. Did you hear about the Buddhist monk who almost attained enlightenment? He
No.
only reached nirvana.
Oh.
Ooh.
What was that one you told a couple of months ago about the guy walking up to the hot dog stand, make me one with everything?
Yeah.
The Buddhist walks up to the hot dog stand,
Make me one with everything.
Good stuff. All right, Bill, you got something?
Yeah, I was just going to say about the naked man that ran past my house this morning. He had a girl on his back, on a piggyback. I says, "Where are you going?" And he says, "I'm going to a fancy dress party." I says, "What are you going as?" He says, "A tortoise." This is Michelle.
Ordinaire.
This is Michelle.
That's the best.
guys.
That's the best I can do for a dog.
I see what you did there.
There you go.
That's the best I can do.
Who is that?
That's my daughter's dog, Malibu.
I've got a joke.
All right, one more joke, and then we're going to get going.
Yeah, it's an English teacher's joke. What's the difference between a cat and a comma? So the cat has claws at the end of its paws, and a comma has a pause at the end of its claws.
Yeah. Wow.
There you go. A little play on words there. That reminds me of, what was the one that David told a couple of weeks ago? What's the difference between an incompetent marksman and a constipated owl?
Yeah.
One can shoot but can't hit.
The other can hit.
Yeah.
Hey, keep going, Jackie.
Okay.
Finish your sentence, Jackie.
All right. Who's this?
You guys can see him?
Yeah, who's that?
Oh,
He's Casper. He's done working. Look at him. He's getting his tie off.
Yep. Casper before, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, good stuff. Hey, there's Javier. Hey, Javier. Good to see you, sir. All right, so we're gonna have a fun Friday. We'll get together, a little mastermind group here today. I do want to acknowledge Evelyn and Therese and others who are posting in our Facebook group. Thank you, because I'm on Facebook. I think I was on Facebook once this week, and by Monday I am going to have order in my life. But thank you all for your contributions, not only via the Facebook group, but of course I want to acknowledge everyone who has stepped in and created some really interesting content over the last few days. Some of it heavier than others, some of it more family oriented than others, but instructive nonetheless. I'm looking at you, Mark. And
I say you can be talking about me.
And so I want to acknowledge everyone who's contributing, as well as everyone who is at this point participating in this conversation, because this is brand new. While we've been having, myself, right, and some of our members here, we've been in mastermind group type conversations like this for some decades. It's no small thing for me when I consider that we've got brand new members. Some of you may be on here right now. Maybe you just joined in the last couple of days, and you're thinking, what is this that I've gotten into, right? So this whole experience is kind of on trial. Well, actually, the trial goes two ways. You're kind of on trial too, right? So there's kind of a mutual benefit that needs to happen whenever we get into masterminding. So I want to cover that as a basic concept today, just to hopefully give you some ideas that you can run with for the weekend and see how you can apply some of the stuff that you've gleaned from, whether it's Shannon's brand builder session last night, or Ego and Adrian doing the life and business skills with business planning part 1. There's part 2 and 3 at least coming over the next couple weeks. By the way, I will also say that Ego is hosting a tech talk, short session, half hour or so. And that's going to be at noon British summer time, noon GMT, noon England. Okay. And that's going to be on Thursday this week. And then it's going to be on Friday for the subsequent weeks for at least 2 weeks. So check the calendar. I know we've got a lot of people in the e-commerce space who are looking for more technical kind of discussions, right? So that's going to be Tech Talk with Ego. Again, it's on the calendar. If you're in the United States, you're going to be getting up really, really early. If you're in Australia, you're going to be staying up really late. But that is noon in England. But these are just a handful of the things, as you know, if you're a full member here, and if you're seeing this on YouTube, you need to be a full member. Just click the link you'll find in the description. And we've got an entire onslaught of content that's happening here, whether it's yoga classes, group meditation, adventures in mindset with Stuart, right? E-commerce kind of stuff, networking magic with Glenn, who crushed it again this week, Reverend Glenn Henderson. We got the kids corner, which may be moving to weekends. We'll see, because we got other kids in other countries that want to participate. There's so much, not to mention our book study. Get through chapter 1 of Think and Grow Rich, because we're going to be covering that on Monday. These are just a handful of the things that are on our calendar right now. Having said that, what is the purpose of all this? So let's just remind ourselves what the purpose of all this is that you can engage in ideas and put them to immediate use in your life, because you've got a reason to. That's the prerequisite for all of this. Nobody shows up in this conversation because they're bored and they can't find any kitten videos on YouTube. I'll tell you what happens when I go on YouTube, just to give you an example. I'm either watching state of the country kind of stuff, right? Things that are going on in civics and politics and everything else, which may or may not lend to a happy attitude on my part, may not lend to my productivity. Usually it doesn't. Okay. May maybe get me fired up a little bit. Or I'm watching things just as a diversion, right? Maybe some reviews on some products, right? Products that I'm interested in, guitar stuff or gun stuff or whatever. This is the kind of stuff, motorcycle stuff. I'm into that. Okay. Or drag racing videos. By the way, if you want to see something fun, watch First Top Fuel Drag Racing Pass. Just look for like First Professional Drag Race. Search on YouTube for that, and you will see people's faces light up like the first time they've ever seen nitromethane burning, funny cars and stuff go down the track at 300 miles an hour. People just about crap their pants. Little kids, their faces light up. It's amazing, the power. In fact, maybe I'll show you one of those today. But what is all this stuff for? If we're not here for a diversion, because we got more entertaining things we can do, and we do, okay? What are we here for? We're here to not just have a lecture or a doctrine, okay, which is certainly everything that we do here is based on the premise that you are already causative, meaning you're already effective to a degree in your life, to a degree, and everything's by degree. There's no absolutes here, okay? But to a degree, you're effective in your life. But can you augment that? Can you find other ways to apply a teaching, a doctrine, or whatever into perhaps another area of your life? Like when I first became successful in business, I noticed that I applied some of the same principles that I applied into my physical fitness. Okay, so we're going to go back here some decades. I was a skinny kid. I grew up on the Jersey Shore. Okay, New Jersey, the beach towns, right? And in that environment, there's lots of opportunities to be muscle bound and walk down the beach and everything. I wasn't into that. Okay, I was a skinny kid. I could never get past 140 pounds. And I know other people may have, fitness issues in the other direction where you're looking to lose weight. I was looking to gain weight. I was looking to put on some mass. And so because I was in the environment that I was in, and I met a few other gym rats or meatheads, or call us whatever you want, I was like, how do you get big and strong? And they were like, well, come to the gym with us. And I went to the gym and they taught me how to get big and strong. In fact, I wrote an article. This was a few years back. I wrote an article, How Weightlifting Made Me Rich, which I think is this is actually a marketing tip, by the way. If you want to attract people, let's say you've got a business opportunity or something, you're looking to attract people who are also of the fitness mindset, this would be something good. In fact, I remember running an ad some years ago that said, you mastered your body, how about your bank account, right? I got a bunch of leads from that when I was offering a business opportunity and I was advertising in a fitness magazine. Food for thought, okay? But I wrote this article, a blog article or whatever it was, How Weightlifting Made Me Rich. And there were three things there were three principles, if you will, that I learned when I was hanging out in the gym on the Jersey Shore with these meatheads who taught me how to get big and strong. And guess what? I applied those same three principles into my new business venture, and it worked. I made a lot of money. Would you like to know what the three things are? Of course you would, right? So that's sort of like setting the hook. Okay, so we're setting the hook now. There's a little bit of a copywriting, trick here. Is what's called bucket brigade copy. Okay, where you carry the bucket to the next page. You got to turn the page if you want to see the next thing, and you never end with a complete thought. Okay, you always bring it to the next thing. Okay, but I'm giving you some principles here that you could take and you can now apply into other areas of your life. Okay, so guess what? The three things that I learned that allowed me to be successful in business, and this may be an oversimplification, okay, but I know we've got a lot of people who are looking to make it in business, and there are three principles which are universally applicable. In this case, it worked in the gym and it worked in the business world. Number one was consistency. Consistency. We show up every day at the gym. It wasn't like once a week when you feel like it. No, it's every day. We're in there punishing our bodies every day. Consistency. In fact, one of the books on this shelf is 17 Secrets of the Master Prospectors by John K. Lynch, the late John K. Lynch. I've done a bunch of work in the network marketing space, and he was an author who did a lot of training in that space. And he said, one of the secrets of the master prospectors is that they're consistent. In fact, they're consistently consistent, right? They do something so consistently that it becomes habitual, right? Habits. This is the trick. A lot of times people think you need to be some great heroic, miraculous effort or something. No, habits beat heroics. So consistently consistent. So we showed up at the gym every day. And guess what I did in my business? I showed up every day. It wasn't like, I'm going to force myself to go be John the business guy now. Okay, now that I've done that for an hour, let me get back to my, miserable life and the habits that didn't serve me before. No, I became that. In fact, at one point, I remember there was this business that I was doing. It was a direct selling marketing program, and the top guy in the company, his monthly income record was $111,000 in 1 month. And so when I got into that marketing program, I wanted to know who the top people were, right? What do you guys do? Anyway, this guy had the record. And so I was thinking, all right, I need to beat his record. Anyway, my 7th month, I beat his record. I made $137,000 that month. And he asked me, John, what do you do for fun? And I said, I sell this program. He's like, aha. Right. So I had become more consistent than him. Later, some years later, people had asked me, John, how did you become the top earner in this, business deal or whatever? I said, I've just been more consistent than anybody. I suppose if somebody was more consistent than me, then they would be the top earner. But right now I'm it. Does that make me special or something? I don't know. Right. Probably not. But there's no part of my life where I don't show up. Right? I'm either the guy who keeps showing up at the scene of the crime, or I'm the guy who keeps getting the trophy. Choose, right? So we're going to be consistent at something. How about being deliberate about what we put on the menu every day, right? So we showed up at the gym every day. Consistency. The number two principle was intensity. We went to the gym, we lifted weights to the point of what's called failure, muscle failure. Like you can't lift the weights anymore. So let's say, for example, you're doing a bench press, right? And you may have spotters, right? These are other people. They're not doing the exercise, but they're guiding you, making sure you're safe so that when you fail, they can assist in getting that weight off your chest and back onto the rack, or pushing out a couple extra reps beyond failure where they're even doing more of the work than you are because your muscles are just shot. Okay, so that's intensity. Uncomfortable. What's the saying? No pain, no gain. How about in business? Right? We're going to get a business off the ground here. What are you're going to run it at 80% throttle, 90% throttle? You think you get credit for 90% throttle? No. Aviation metaphor, right? Mark, Wayne, 100% throttle. That aircraft is designed under this much load with this much weight, thrust, blah, blah, blah. I'm not an aircraft guy. Okay, but then the throttle goes to 100%, right? And you get that thing off the ground. Same thing in business. Intensity, right? You go to the point where you cannot go any further. Half measures avail us nothing. You see somebody that goes to the gym, they lift a couple weights. Oh, it feels a little uncomfortable. Let me drop the weights. You lose. All the money is made at failure. That's where the money's made. Okay. So that's the second principle. So we got consistency, we got intensity. And the third principle that got me big and strong and also made me successful in business is diversity or variety, whichever word you prefer. Okay. So it's not like we just went to the gym every day and did arm curls, right? We'd have big biceps, but what about the legs, right? In fact, speaking of the Jersey Shore, having grown up, in the environment that I did, we would see walking on the boardwalk. And if you guys can picture this, right, here's the arcades, here's the beach, right? And sometimes you'd see, here's the muscle guys who got what's called the beer muscles, right? So they would go to the gym, get a little pump before they go try and meet girls at the clubs, the nightclubs and everything. And they're all what we would call all guns, no wheels, right? Big chest and biceps, no legs, right? All guns, no wheels, right? So that's not ideal, right? What if you need to climb climb some stairs or something? I mean, you want to be able to lift lower body too. So we would do different things on different days. Today's chest and biceps. Leg day, everybody's favorite, leg day. In case you don't know, if you haven't been in the gym, leg day is grueling. It is more energy than you could possibly expend. The quadriceps are the biggest muscle in the body. It takes all the blood, right? You want to be dizzy and falling down. Arnold Schwarzenegger used to lift weights till he threw up. He had a puke bucket in the corner. He would go and throw up and then go back to weightlifting, right? Of course, he was training for Mr. Olympia. He was also taking growth hormone and steroids, but you get the point, right? It's way intense, but it's leg day, and holy crap, it's leg day. Okay. I have an affirmation, by the way. My affirmation is, I love leg day. Leg day is my favorite. I can't wait for leg day. Okay. That's not the truth, by the way, but I keep telling myself, okay. But the point is that you diversify, right? It's not just arm curls, which reminds me of a joke. Okay. Since we're into the lecture here, but it is Fun Friday. So the joke is, hey, do you know a good veterinarian? Oh, no. Why? Because my pythons are sick. That's why. So a little reference there to, you guys remember Hulk Hogan, my 42-inch pythons, or whatever the hell the size was. My pythons are sick. I learned that from a friend of mine in San Diego. That was funny. To me, it was. But the consistency, the intensity, and the diversity, those three things. Can you apply those to your business? Well, how do you apply diversity into your business? The most dangerous number in business is 1. So if you got one exercise, you show up at the gym, you're going to have strong biceps or whatever, but nothing else, right? You got one method of advertising. You got one method of bringing in customers. Well, that's dangerous. It's better than 0. 0 sucks. The 0 is nothing, right? But one's not so much better. Okay. So can you scale that up? Right? Can you diversify that? I remember back in the days of the Google slap. Ego, you certainly know what I'm talking about. So we were doing gangbusters business. We were doing Google, I guess what they call AdWords now, or back then it was just running pay-per-click advertising on Google. And then Google shut everybody down. They didn't like that sort of advertising or whatever. In fact, I talked to a guy yesterday who said he got his Facebook ad account shut down. So Facebook ads. For whatever the offer is. Facebook is completely arbitrary. They can do whatever they want. It's their thing, and they can decide that you violated community guidelines, even though you don't know what guidelines you violated. Shannon and I have had 3 Facebook ad accounts shut down in the last month and a half. 2 of them got turned right back on. Oh, you know what? No violation at all. Okay. One of them they still haven't turned back on. About what is that? I mean, I would call that authoritarianism. I've sometimes called it fascist book, but it's their deal, right? That's a platform. If you want to advertise on it, you got to play by their rules, even though you're not allowed to know their rules. A bit maddening. But what if that's the only way that you're getting leads, traffic, right? Business. Let's say you're on Amazon, right? That's one platform, most dangerous number, 1. 80% of people who sell on Amazon also sell off a platform. So here's, Bob's Widgets on Amazon, and here's bobswidgets.com, perhaps a higher price, probably a higher price. Maybe here's the package deal with the widget plus the video course on how to use the widget, right? Now the price just doubled because you added an intangible to the tangible product. There's lots of different combinations. Okay, we're back to the whole idea of lead generation. So I got my classified ads running there. There's Google, there's Facebook, there's, I don't know, Craigslist or whatever, right? There's magazine, print advertising, right? Diversity of approach. Ask any investor, right? You're going to put all your eggs in one basket? I know Warren Buffett said, yeah, I'll put all my eggs in one basket and then watch that basket closely. He's full of crap, but okay, that's another way you could look at it. So that doesn't mean that you half measure all these things, because again, half measures avail us nothing. But what you do is you get something working, okay, and then now that that's working, you add to it, you diversify in addition to that. One mistake that I did make, where and I wrote about this in my first book. One mistake that I've made many, okay, but this one in particular, where there was this new method of advertising, this new method of marketing that was happening, and supposedly some people were going nuts with it. They were crushing it with this thing, and I abandoned what was working to take this thing on. And guess what? It didn't work, and I lost one of the most precious things you could possibly have, which is momentum. So back to the first principle, which was consistency. Is that being consistent? Not maintaining what's already working? No, that's called being stupid. That's being inconsistent. So the three go together: consistency, intensity, and diversity. Those three things, they work in the gym. You can take this to the bank, and they work in business. Okay, 100% throttle every day, right? To the point where you can now scale up other things because you got this one working. And that's how weightlifting made me rich. I probably used more words just then than I did in the actual article, because I wanted people to read it all through. And then the call to action was click here for more information on how you can capitalize on blah, 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 right? So how can you use that one idea, or in this case, it's a triune of ideas. How can you use that in your life? Like right now, there's no need to take notes on this stuff, by the way. Is anyone vague on these three very simple things? Consistency, all right, show up every day. Intensity, do it, like really freaking do it. And diversity, okay, do different stuff in addition to the first thing. So this way you got a diverse approach, bigger net in the water. Do you need to take notes on that? Probably not. Okay, this is for you. So back to the original idea. What is the whole idea of a mastermind group? It's things that you can take and you can get perspectives from other people. Like I may have just offered you a perspective that you may not have considered before, how we can transfer these truths over into this completely different area of life. Here's the gym, here's business. What does that have to do with each other? Nothing, and everything, because it's the same guy who keeps showing up in both spots. Okay. We can apply that in various ways to relationships, right? We can apply that in various ways to community projects, philanthropy, right? The saying that comes up for me again and again is half measures avail us nothing. So if you're going to do it, do it. And if you're not, don't, right? But there's nothing we need to stand on ceremony or write tomes about. I've got tomes right here, okay? What's usable out of all this stuff? What I just told you. That's one usable thing that we can put to use right now. And it will bear fruit. It must. It must. Because if we're talking about principles, they always work, regardless of personalities, right? Does it work for Bill, for Toyin, for Evelyn, right? It doesn't matter, whose name you attach to it. If the principles work, is it a person who's going to actually apply the principles? If the answer is yes, then it has to work. So principles before personalities, my friends. And that's what this is about. I know we've got a great variety of personalities here with us, and I admire you all and the diversity. And we got to hear about all kinds of stuff this week. I'm thinking now to Cyril and what he finds that wine and chocolate is an aphrodisiac. I didn't need that data, but I have that data now. Thank you, Cyril. Now I know. All right, let me stop talking. Holy, my goodness, it's 9:29 in the morning here already. Mark's got his hand up, and we'll start with Mark and anybody else who wants to talk about whatever to end the week. Mark, sir.
Heck, with all those things you were saying today, John, I was thinking, oh my gosh, he's throwing me all over the map today. I mean, I've got one cheek left after my little episode yesterday. Yeah, to anybody that thought that was a little bit heavy, I'm sorry about that. I just was bringing a point, but and I think I learned a valuable lesson from yesterday too. That actually that third that third thing on diversity, I need to keep working on other options that I have available to me. So, but in any case, I had a good time with that, and I like what you're talking about today, and I'm going to keep plugging away and having a good time with this, and appreciate the opportunity you've given me. And I'm enjoying this group. This is a lot of fun, John. So thanks. That's all I got to say.
You. So glad you're here, brother. Ego's unmuted. Hey, Ego.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was in error.
Okay, we'll go ahead and mute your mic. We got Ivier. What's going on, Ivier?
Hello, John. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Well, I mean, you know what you've spoken about, the three things. I mean, as you know, I've taken these principles and I put them into my day job, and I've also applied them in some other things that I'm involved in, and it's bearing fruit. I mean, this is just confirmation that it works, not just here but everywhere else. So I was having a catch up with my manager yesterday, and he just couldn't stop going on about how every time he talks to me, I'm doing something else that, you know, just surprises him. Just when he thinks, you know, I'm showing up and I'm making the team look good, you know, that every time we catch up, there's something new that I'm doing that he wasn't aware of. And he's just like, oh my goodness, you know. And so he's become a main champion of mine, where he now goes and talks about me to the directors. And so now I'm getting emails almost on a daily basis, and we've got something on our intranet where you can do a shout out and thank a colleague for helping out. People that I didn't even know that what I did had made a difference in their lives are giving me shout outs. Directors who generally don't have time for stuff like that are giving me shout outs. And then yesterday, my manager said to me, I'm hoping that in the next week or so, you'll be pleasantly surprised with an announcement. And I said to him, oh, okay, really? And that's all he said. He said, look, I'm not going to let, you know, the cat out of the bag, but just, yeah, I don't want to give anything away, but just watch this space kind of thing. So clearly, you know, me showing up every day and being consistent and, you know, looking for opportunities to make not just me look good, but make my manager look good and make the wider team look good is helping. He's been away for 2 weeks. And so I said to him, I was helping another team interview candidates, which is what I think I mentioned this last week. It's not my team. It's not a part of business that I generally do anything with, but I just thought they've come to my rescue once or twice in the past. And one of the managers there was was in the board meeting where I presented one of my papers, and he was amazed that I knew so much about what I do. And I said, well, but this is what I get paid to do, so I better know my stuff, right? But I think it's the first time he'd heard me talk, and so he couldn't stop paying me compliments after that. And so when I realized that he was a manager for that team, I thought I better put my hand up and help them interview. Of course, now he's gone off and told the directors how it's not even something I should be doing, but I put my hand up and I've shown up for them. And so once again, I'm on more people's radar screens. So just to say that it does work, you know, applying this in different areas, you know, it's yielding more benefits now that I know what to do with. And so it's just, carry on, I guess. So, thank you.
Thank you. And also thank you, Ivier, for the little video you sent me.
Was that good? Was that useful?
Yes. And let me say to you and to everyone, look, you're getting tangible, real results in life by applying whatever you're getting here. Yeah. Please send me a video, because I mean, we're going to grow this community. Okay. I haven't had 10 seconds to have any attention on that, but people need to know what's happening here. And it's, you know, I can't tell them, you got to tell them. Right. So thank you, Ivier. Cool. And anyone else who wants to kick me over an email, contact@johnlavenia.com. You can just fire up Zoom instead of going live, just record a video and then kick it over to me. I would love any testimonials that you have. Awesome. Ivier, of course, was the first. Of course, Ivier was the first. Right. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thanks, John.
All right. Let's go to Jane Akinyelu, and then Adrienne, and then Jamie. Hey, Jane.
Hi, I just want to say I'm enjoying every minute, every second of this in this group, and my life is being transformed. And Mark, your teaching yesterday, I have to watch it again. I love every minute of it. And I learned a lot from it. And basically, it's not just healing, change of mindset, spiritual healing, physical healing, and also pushing us forward to achieve the goal that we have set, the principles that works. So basically, I just want to say thank you. Sometimes I'm short of words to be able to express, my gratitude and everything that I'm learning, daily learning. I sleep better because of this group. And also, I want to catch up with everything that you're doing. It's like, Jane, you're going to wreck your life if you go 24 hours, on JL Mastermind, because it's just really transforming my life. And it's like, for the last 20 years, what I've lost, I'm just getting it on this group. And thank you so much, John. Thank you for every participant. I'm grateful.
Oh, thank you. So glad you're here, Jane. You're glowing. Look at you.
Thank
you so much, my friend. Let's go to Adrian, and then Jamie, and then anybody else who wants to talk. Hey, Adrian.
Hey, John, just listening to Ivier and Jane bubbling over with happiness after that, really. What great to see people, being consistent, being intense and getting somewhere. And it's just fantastic to see that. Makes me feel great. So a good way to end off the week. There weren't many hands up, so I thought I'd pile in, but the gym analogy, John, it makes me remember a couple of occasions trying to pile into the gym and just getting injured or getting nowhere because I didn't have a program. So that's part of it as well. You can go in there and be consistent and you can be intense, but if you're doing the wrong things in the wrong way, you just get in the jam. So you need a good guiding light. You need someone to lay down what you've got to be consistent at. And that's what we're all trying to learn, I guess, because otherwise you just go off course. Like trying to practice the guitar. You can go around for 10 years not making any improvement because you're practicing the wrong things. That's how it struck me.
Yeah. I mentioned right at the beginning that this is an oversimplification, perhaps, right? So there was no mention of how to, like, how do you grasp the weight and how do you maintain a straight back while you're doing the arm curl and stuff like that. So that's certainly the how to stuff. Okay. But without the principles, the intent, without the intent, well, the how to doesn't really matter. So yeah, definitely an oversimplification. Interestingly, you mentioned the guitar. And this is something else that I've got an interest in, although it's metal and whatever. It's not something I'm going to do professionally. I suppose if I really dedicated my time consistently and intensely and in a diverse manner to the guitar, I could be a broke artist, right? That would be the end phenomenon of all that. But I know there are people who practice like 12 hours a day, right? And they're amazing. And some of them get paid, right? A lot of them don't, okay? But it's not just about, like, the financial reward is just a small piece, right? The music business, just the reward of the aesthetics, the music, the art, being on stage, having that experience, man, that is great reward. Interesting tidbit though, Adrian, do you know the #1 grossing rock music act in the world?
Well, I might have to contest this with you, but I always understood that Kiss was the best because they merchandised the most effectively. They made an absolute fortune. They were kings of merchandise. So that's what I was told.
Stuart got it. AC/DC.
AC/DC, right? Okay.
AC/DC.
Yeah.
And do you know that Angus Young, who runs around in his underwear and everything, he can't play a full bar chord?
Yeah, no, it's often the case that, look, you hear thousands of brilliant guitarists I've heard, many, many times, but they're not the ones that break through. It's about your image and material. If you can produce a hit or the material that breaks through, you break through and the other guy doesn't.
Yeah.
So probably a lot of messages in there.
Yeah, it's not necessarily, the technical ability, because I know way more talented people than Angus Young.
Yeah.
It's about the hair.
Huh?
It's about the hair.
The hair, okay. Yeah, I mean, AC/DC, right in the scratchy voice. It's like anybody could do that, okay? But oh man, did they sell it? So
you've hit on another important point though, John, and that is that you can try and do a couple of things really well at the same time. Yeah, I mean, I played the guitar a lot at one point and got forward, but you can't do that and the gym and everything else at the same time. There are sacrifices, aren't there? You've got to be focused on what's my thing. It's your old chicken and foxes phrase.
There you go. There you go. Beautiful, Adrian. Thank you for being here, my friend. Let's go to Jimmy Young, then Star Hart, then Stuart Wild. Hey, Jimmy Young.
Good morning. Good morning. Ivier, I'm envious of you that you have a manager that actually will recognize, or not actually, but does recognize your efforts and expounds those, tells everybody else and lets everybody know and supports
Jamie,
you.
it's the first time it's happened, which is why I'm shocked.
Well, that's, I mean, and one time is all it takes, right? To influence you and to empower you to do better. I mean, in and of itself, but I'm going to relate a quick story I had in my presentation earlier. I talked about having, outside influences, and one of those could be your boss, positive or negative. And I had this monthly review yesterday, the day before yesterday, and he goes negative. He doesn't point out. Where you've improved, where you've stayed, where you've maintained in this day and age of COVID and the struggles that most businesses are going through. And so invariably, you have two options there. I think you can wallow in that, right? You can get off the phone and be depressed and just say, well, there's nothing I can do right. Or you can spin that around and decide, I'm going to push the gas pedal down to the floor. I'm going to prove that I know I'm successful and I can do it. I'm doing what I'm doing well. And so as soon as we hung up the phone, I show up every day. I think I do. Like John was talking about, I try to show up in every aspect of my life. And so I decided to show up just a little bit stronger. And I just made a couple more phone calls and dug a little deeper and posted by the end of the day, some extra positive results. Of course, I didn't hear anything from him at all. That wouldn't register for a guy like that. And that's okay. Just keep your head down and you work. My dad used to tell me, just keep your head down and the success will come, whether that's money or whatever you're endeavoring to do. And so it made, as I said, do things to please other people, which was my issue. I decided I was going to do that for me. I was going to prove internally that I could and would and will rise above. And so one day he'll flip. He's not a great leader, but one day he'll figure it out, whether he gets let go or he has this epiphany. But that was kind of as I said earlier in the week, I'm trying to work on this, and that was part of the work that I'm doing, where I switched it on to get it done for me. And then if there's something else that comes of that, great. But at least I could close my laptop, and at the end of the day, I was satisfied, and I felt enriched because I took it on myself, and that was the end of that story. So it's great that you have a leader, Ivier, that's doing that for you, and hopefully that's what he continues to do, and hopefully that surprise that's coming is something that just elevates you to higher and higher heights for sure. Thanks.
Thank you. Very good, Jamie. And how much inspiration we get just from witnessing. Here's what's happening with one of our peers here in the group. Beautiful stuff. So good to see you. And you know who else it's always good to see is Star Hart. It's always good to see Star. Hi, Star.
Hello, everybody. Firstly, wrong one. Right. Firstly, Jamie, I really think that, so I changed careers from a creative industry into construction industry. And I knew it was going to be difficult for me. And I knew that because I'm a bit sort of vivacious, I'm a bit creative, I'm a little bit woo and a little bit wah. And construction people can be a bit like in a box and sort of formulaic. And I knew it was going to take a little while for me to find my team and the people that appreciated me for who I was, because the skills I've got are just as good as any other construction project manager. I have now found that team, and I've been with this company for 1 year, but it's the 6th company I've been with since I left my training, my university degree that I did. And I'd just like to say to you, if you're not getting appreciated, you need to walk and go and find another company that will appreciate you. Do not sit there and let some a-hole not appreciate you, because you are full of value, you're full of effort and emphasis and energy. And why, because I'll finish with the story that I began at the beginning of the week, where I had this difficult meeting. So the difficult meeting turned into, and I, like Ivier, have got my bosses. I just got an email from my boss at 2:30 this afternoon saying, what a great way to end the week. And my client has emailed my director saying, Star's done an amazing job with this really difficult project, and this is exactly great coordination and project management, and I'd like to commend her. And my directors have all given me an email saying, yay, go Star. And you need to be appreciated, Jamie, and I think you need to walk. I think you need to start looking, and I think you need to get out of there. That's my advice to you.
I appreciate that. And that's a thought, and a strong thought, and there's a lot of preparation in that, because there's so much background to that. And part of this, why I'm here, was Amazon, and my goal is to fire my employer. I mean, I've got a team of guys,
of course,
that I work with, and I enjoy those guys, and I empower them. So that's a greater reward for me, and the challenge that I embrace. I sound like that's I don't mean to sound like that occupies, encompasses my life, this a-hole. I can deal with it. What I like is that I'm learning to deal with it in a better way than I used to do it. And you're right, I do agree it's time to go, and I'm getting that out. I appreciate the support on that too. Thank you.
Because I found, if I can't deal with the team, and if I'm not being appreciated, and particularly in construction, one of the positions that I took on, and they knew that I was a single parent when they took me on. So they knew I had childcaring responsibilities. So during the summer months, I would have to be a little bit late, because childcare doesn't start until like 8:30, 9 o'clock, blah, blah, blah. And they were coming down on me like a ton of bricks. I mean, it was quite sexist. Anyway, I was with the company 6 months, and I was like, screw you, I'm out of here. And, I feel really blessed now that I'm with this company, even though this company are still a company, and they still have had 5 months of me on a reduced salary, and they're still a corporate entity, that I am just a number. However, my team is good, and I get support, and I get to manage how I want to manage. And my meetings are not really like other construction project managers' meetings. They're a little bit more sort of fluid and creative, but I get to run it how I want to run it, and they let me manage the team as well. So you don't sit there suffering. Anyway, secondly, Mark, so amazing yesterday. Absolutely, just loved it. You are, gosh, I don't even know how to put it into words, but the value that I hold knowing you and all the input that you give us is just incredible. And also, Ego and Adrian, loving your cash flow stuff. I really need that spreadsheet. That's really, really helpful, so helpful. And Nancy's yoga, amazing. I did that again this morning. I did the recording this morning of last week's, so good. And Stuart, loving your adventures, always. So thank you, everybody, for another fabulous week. And how many days am I into my mental diet? When did we start that, Stuart? Yay. Absolutely loving it.
Day 3, I believe. Thank you, Star.
It's working for me. It's working for me.
Good stuff. On this topic, I'll be super brief because we got more hands up. And Jamie, thinking of your situation, the last job I ever worked in sales was commission sales, but I got my pay cut 3 times in a year, which they called a promotion, right?
That's
You've heard the
right.
story, I think. I outgrew my post. And so yes, Rome was crumbling all around me, but I was going to the higher level, right? So I had to look at it like that. Well, I could look at it however I wanted to, but I chose to look at it as, this is the universe telling me that you're going to the next level in your life. Look, stuff's crumbling all around. but that means now I got to hit the throttle on plan B, because plan B is becoming plan A, right? I am not here to, this isn't my life's purpose over here at this job. This isn't my life's purpose. So I was exiting, ready or not, I was exiting. That doesn't mean I abandon what's turning, keeping the lights on, keep the money coming over here, but no attachment to it. This is very temporary. I don't know if that's helpful, but I know what is helpful is looking at people like EVA being inspired. Look, there is things working in the lives of people who are advancing, right? And so I just keep looking at those examples and keep seeing, you know what, that's me too, right? Like that guy I mentioned, who's the top guy in this deal? Oh, 100,000 in a month. Great. I'm here to break that record. That's what I'm here to do. Right. So I don't know if you find any of that comforting or helpful or whatever, but I love you, man. Jamie, Star, I love you, all you guys. You guys are amazing. So great.
Welcome EVA as well. That's amazing. Thank you. It's just amazing.
Yeah, beautiful. She inspires me every day. Where's Stuart? Let's get Stuart out here with a tale from the trail or something.
Oh my God. I'm right here. I love you guys. I love you, man. Couple things. Let's see. My first concert, ninth grade, maybe 1983, AC/DC for those about to rock tour. So that hits home for me in a big way. I want to say the magic of AC/DC was the front man, right? And many bands or any kind of organization has to have that person out there that's the leader. And Angus's deal with dressing up in his little Australian schoolboy uniform and squirming around on the stage and all that, that's I think was the secret to their success, not his amazing guitar playing, right? So let's just say that. Ivier, Star, Jamie, everybody, as we level up, as we change our vibration, as we assume higher versions of ourselves, as we embody, incorporate, and apply all these principles that we're all learning about and trying to really consume and take into our lives, I think it's only a natural process where people recognize that, and it's not something that has to be forced. You just are who you are, and as you level up, people recognize that, and whatever it is, or as you level up, you realize, hey, I don't need that crap anymore. I'm going to go do my own thing or whatever. And maybe it's just the courage or the reinforcement that we can do those things, and that our future is whatever we make of it, right? So I also want to say, just going back to the mastermind concept, there's a lot of self-improvement, personal development videos that anybody can just go and watch and be a non-participant and just be talked at by somebody. And there's really, and I've said this from the beginning, that the true value in this for me, and maybe you guys would agree, is the participatory component of this, and to be able to bounce ideas off of each other, share each other's stories. And I think there's a lot of power in that. And I don't know of anything. I mean, I know, John, you've talked about the mastermind thing that's been going on for decades. And I know Napoleon Hill talks about it in his book, but I have never seen anything quite like this, my friend. And I think that what we're building here, this foundation, is limitless and will go in whatever direction that we all steer it. So cheers, man. Thanks to everybody.
Thank you, Stuart. So glad you're here, brother. This is just the beginning. Where's Wayne? Let's get Wayne out here, then Bill and Ivier again. Hey, Wayne.
Good morning. So, yeah, great talk. The consistency, intensity, diversity. Those are really good ones to keep in mind. It seems that that whole thing of threes takes me. I'm just going to use my aviation one here: aviate, navigate, communicate. It's three things that are key to hold at the top of the mind to be a successful pilot as well. And yeah, so I think as we pilot our life here through the entrepreneurial world and mindset stuff, that consistency, intensity, and diversity are our three words. So thanks, John. Just just Jamie, you were just talking about recognition and stuff like that. And I had an acting coach at one time that said, if you don't get the part, don't take it personally. It was their miss. It was their mistake. And So I've always taken that one forward in life, as things that haven't worked out, or when I haven't been recognized for work I've done or whatever. And yesterday after our calls and stuff, we were shooting a music video out in the Rocky Mountains here west of Calgary, and the musician had a cellist and a guitarist out there, and the backdrop was just absolutely phenomenal. And so they were doing their pieces, and we were doing all these different shots. And number one, we had limited light, so we had to be very deliberate and consistent in what we were doing as far as getting the imagery we needed, because it was a one-day shoot. And so there's a lot of intensity in just keeping things moving, making sure everything's right, the light's moving into the right place. It's like, okay, we got to go now, we got to get this shot right now. So that was pretty intense. And then there's a lot of different angles that we were trying to get so that we could make this video work. So there's the diversity piece of that. And I get pretty excited by imagery. I know some people are really into music. For me, it's all about visuals. But the big thing about visuals too is that when we put something together, that music component is a major part of it. And I learned, and have often told other people, that if you're working on a limited budget, the thing that you should spend your most money on is the sound component. So that adds to the diversity piece of it as well. So anyways, we were walking back to our vehicles from this spot, and I was talking to the musician, and I said to him, I don't mean to brag or anything, but we got some amazing shots there. I mean, the clouds, the lighting, just the color gradation up into the mountains, sort of moving from the grasses up into the purples of the mountain as they moved up into the sky was pretty amazing. And we got some fantastic shots. I said, I don't mean to brag, but we got some amazing stuff here. And he said to me, well, I was at a Prince concert, and I think he meant that there was one in 1997. I looked it up in Dallas at Reunion Arena, where Prince allegedly say it ain't bragging if you can back it up. And it sounds like Muhammad Ali also used to say that it's not bragging if you can back it up. So, Jamie, if you're doing good work and stuff like that, or anybody's doing good work, make sure you tell people that it's good work. So that's today. Have a great week. Oh yes, and Metaphors for Success, Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. We're going for a trip down the river.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to being there this week. So there you go. Metaphors for Success with Wayne. And of course, that's middle of the night for our friends in England. So get up early. I know Ivier will be there, but let's go to Bill next. And then I think we'll hear from Ivier and Evelyn. Hey, Bill.
Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. Good morning and good afternoon. Brilliant subject, John. Consistency, as you say, we turn up every day here for this. That's pretty consistent. I think for me, I can certainly feel the difference in turning up here. And you just thrive off the energy that's given out from all these wonderful people. You cannot fail to thrive off the energy from these people. And that is something that has definitely guided me when I get my little down bits at times. Like, I know all I have to do is A, either turn up on here, or B, just even think about having been on here and just think, hey, let's go for it. Just not forget about what this is all about. And it is keeping that focus. For Jamie, quickly, Jamie, I don't know if there's somebody above your boss who's making your life a misery, but I'll give you a quick brief, and I'll not go into the whole story. But when I was a young constable in uniform, my boss rang me on the early mobiles, let's just say. But anyway, he said to me, Bill, there's a massive drugs lorry being moved now in an area. Can you organize a team to get it intercepted? They have firearms on board because the anti-terrorist guys were up their necks and stuff. So 140 miles an hour, my driver was taking me back up the freeway or motorway. And I started organizing everything with all the other call signs and that. And then I suddenly dawned, hold on a minute, there's a sergeant on duty. Why am I doing this? So I rang my boss back and I says, Stevie, well, there's a sergeant on duty. You're giving me this rule to do. Why am I doing it? And he just says, exactly, and hung the phone up. So you might find your boss will get that sort of treatment at some stage. You might say, well, you're better than them. And keep it in mind. But thank you. Principles.
Thank you, Bill. So good to see you. And I'll be catching up with you here in a little bit. One-on-one. Bill and I got a little meeting we're going to be doing. Let's go to Ivy again and then Evelyn. We're going to wrap up with Evelyn Smith. What's up, Ivy?
It was just a little comeback for Jamie, and he replied in the chat. But once again, just to explore if the company is big enough to see if it can move, and report into somebody else. The reason why I said that is just before this manager I have, for the last 2.5 years, almost 3 years, I was in legal stuff with my old manager. And that was one meeting where I went into, and I just used the principles from here, and I just drew a line in the sand, and I said, you know what, enough of all of this. I'm not doing this anymore. It's not productive in my life. I'm not taking it into another year. And on the back of that, one of my directors has actually restructured the entire team for my benefit. So I got to report into somebody on an interim basis until my current manager joined the organization. So I've had 2 fantastic supportive managers on the back of, the one that I was in legal stuff with for almost 3 years. So, but coping with all of that and coming to where I am now, it's been this group and the daily success calls prior to this and the books and all of that. So just to say, it does work. It helps you get through the bad patch, but also the light at the end of the tunnel is you will get what you need and what you deserve in the sense of a supportive manager and a way forward. So that was what I was going to add just for Jamie.
Thank you so much, Ivy.
Thanks, John.
Great insights as well. And Evelyn Smith, all eyes are on you. Please give us a profundity to take us into the weekend.
Oh, no. I don't speak up very much in the big group. I kind of prefer not to. I prefer smaller groups or one-on-one, but I spoke up after the meeting yesterday, and the group of 8 people there said, you really should have said this in the bigger group. So I just wanted to tag on what Stuart said. First of all, this mastermind concept is really starting to take hold for me too. As Bill mentioned, all the time that I've invested, getting in the different sessions with different people. John, I really have to congratulate you on the way you've sequenced everything. It's starting to seems like a natural sequence of talks that we've had. And I can't really put it more into words than just that, but it's starting to take hold. I never would have guessed. And John, you and I have talked privately about this. About my previous self-improvement or self-growth experiences, but I never would have guessed that this was part 2 of that. Before it was like, I found out who I really was and let go of a lot of limiting beliefs. But now it's like, what do you do with that? You get out there in the world and you make pie. You do something positive for yourself. So it's all coming together, and this is a beautiful thing. Yesterday, really quick, Mark's thing, I completely understand the culture shock for certain people. If you're like, you've seen that for the first time. When I saw that for the first time, I didn't even know what to think, but seeing it so many years after, I get it. I have people in my life that have gone through the military, and I understand that process that was meant to show about dismantling the value system and the belief system of the recruit so that it wiped away, blank slate, and then they build up a new value system and a new belief system. And for me, I got it immediately, Mark. That's what this whole process is for me. And I think for all of us, we're trying to wipe away those limiting beliefs like Wayne was talking about. We're trying to get rid of, block out those negative ideas and build up a new value system and a new belief system about what we're able to do in our own lives and for the marketplace and for the world and everything. And it's just, it all came together for me yesterday. Jamie, I wanted to say, I don't give, I'm not here to give advice to anybody. You didn't ask me for advice, but I just want to make a comment based on my own experience. I've also been in a situation in my previous career where the organization was dysfunctional, the leaders were toxic, and there are a lot of limiting beliefs there, a lot of refusal to see, a lot of power tripping. And, you know, I felt like they didn't see my value. I felt like, you know, for me personally, they didn't want to, or they didn't believe in valuing my, just because of the way they thought that this was education and a teacher's training or expertise or experience doesn't count for anything. There was almost a prejudice against people that had more experience. I mean, almost definitely a clear prejudice against people that had more experience, more training, and more expertise. If you had a PhD in something related to education, forget it. You were red meat. They were going to go after you. It was that kind of upside down environment. And I don't have a PhD, but I had a lot of experience and expertise, and I was being treated really badly by people that had been in the classroom for 3-4 years, and I've been in the classroom for over 25 years. So I realized I had to step out of there. And who was it that said that you just limit your mental investment in what you're doing, as far as that goes, you know, not for my students, but as far as the organization goes. That's what I had to do. And developing the plan B. For me personally, the plan B wasn't there. I had a health crisis and I had to step out of my career before I found my plan B, but it's all working out. And what I wanted to say, Jamie, and I really wanted you to hear this, is I think that, you know, I stayed in that situation for a long time, longer than I should have. I wanted to say that staying in a situation that's toxic has there's collateral damage that happens there. You know, it happened to me, my personality and the way I was thinking, there was collateral damage that later I had to repair. You know, there were certain limiting beliefs that started to creep in, and I started to believe some of the fiction. So I just wanted to say that maybe it's not worth it, or one should consider that, the damage that it does over time, to stay in a situation like that. I don't know. That was my thought. But anyway, thank you so much, John. I'm getting so much out of this. Thank you to everybody who's been presenting. And that's my thought for this week. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing it. You're getting a lot of love in the chat roll as well, Evelyn. So glad you're here with us. And yeah, this is just the beginning. By the way, it's not all me, right? This isn't a solo act. So hats off to Ego and Mark and Stuart and everyone else behind the scenes, Jamie, right? And everyone who's preparing all of this, right? I can't do all this alone. So, so glad to be here with all of you. We're going to go ahead and wrap up for the week. Of course, we do have our Be Heard event at 6 p.m. Eastern US time. Especially if you're a new member here, or if you like to talk in a smaller group, you just want to share something with me, I will be there. Okay, so you can be heard, and that's at 6 p.m. And then, of course, we'll start our week on Sunday with Wayne and the Metaphors for Success. Thank you all again, my friends. I'll see you again real soon. Bye.
Have a great weekend, everyone. See ya.
Thank you, everyone.